a few things to love, enjoy, and appreciate in the next couple of months that are to come. Spring and pants, okay? Those are the two things that holds that little piece in my heart right there. You know what I mean? What's up, YouTube? Kyron back up in here with another video, and today we have must-have pants for the springtime. These are just a few pant pickups that I have accumulated over the last couple of weeks slash months that I haven't gotten a chance to show you guys on the channel yet. And I just felt like it was a great time because I wanted to touch a little bit on the topic of bottoms and pants. It's been something in the last couple of years that I've started to appreciate a lot more in the construction of an outfit, let's say, just because I used to neglect pants for so long. Back in the day, I used to just be that person that used to just wear black skinny jeans, and that would be like my my write-off. I'd be good just with a pair of black skinny jeans. As time progresses, you start to realize that like it kind of limits the type of silhouettes and outfits that you could put together. Although there's nothing wrong with black skinny jeans, they might be a little outdated for current like styles and things of that nature. I do think you could execute pretty nice outfits with black skinny jeans in the right scheme of things. Kind of going off track, but you know that Eddie Slimane, SLP, Celine type of vibe. That works for skinny jeans. But right now I've been dabbling more into workwear pants and then also denim. You guys know my addiction for vintage Levi's goes so long. It's insane. The amount of vintage Levi's that I have at this point in time is kind of crazy. After I film this video, I'm going to be giving you guys the long-awaited vintage Levi's collection video, just because I have a I have a freaking crazy ton of vintage Levi's that I haven't like showed all in one video, so I feel like it's the perfect time to do so. And then after I do that, I'll probably end up selling a good amount of them, just because with the new ones that I just added to the collection, I'm able to let a few other ones go because it just makes no sense having a bunch of the same wash, especially when I've gotten ones that are so close to perfect now with the ones that I found. So you guys will see the gems that I have in this video. They're crazy. Like, I love the washes that I found with the vintage Levi's. We will start with the Carhartt pants first. Before all of that, make sure to go follow the boy on Instagram. GOTSWEIGE is where you can keep up to date with me more frequently. I post fit pics, this and that, so that's what you can check out on there. Also, if you haven't already, please like the video. It really helps out a ton. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. On with the video. So the first pair of pants we have is this pair of Carpenter pants by Carhartt. I have yet to own a pair of these just because I haven't found the ones that fit me the best. I'm lucky enough to have a couple of vintage boutiques around me, and I got this pair after doing a shoot for Palmo Goods, which is one of my favorite vintage stores in Montreal. So they had this perfect khaki sun faded pair of Carpenter Carhartt pants. So they're a beautiful wash, very sandy, very worn. You could kind of see how much the color has changed over time. Like, this was the original, and then this is what it's faded out to be. This one's made in the USA, which is even crazier, so you can already tell the craftsmanship is not to be played with. You already know that. The only real distressings that there is like one right here, a little above the knee, I would say, and then on the back, which I was talking about before, it just has that little pocket for like your tools or whatnot. Obviously, man's like me, it's not going to be carrying no tools. I'm going to be carrying an iPhone. That's my tool. That's it. And also like this hammer loop on the other side as well. I've just been seeing funny as like memes of like people just being like, oh, like what type of work are you guys going to be doing in your workwear? And it's so jokes to see because workwear is such a big thing right now, and obviously everyone that's wearing it is not doing any types of work that was done in these in the first place in order to have all these beautiful washes that we're buying into currently. So definitely go check out some vintage Carhartt pants if you haven't already. A bunch of vintage boutiques on Instagram and also IRL have been providing them, so you could definitely find a really nice pair. I'll also link a video in the description from Lucas. He kind of touched on the whole like Carhartt workwear pant situation all in one video, so if you guys want to go check that out, definitely go check that out. It's really nice. We'll get into the vintage Levi's because this is something that I'm excited about because You guys know I'm addicted to buying into these. It's insane. At this point, I have so many pairs, but in the process of buying pairs, you definitely end up buying ones that you get in person and you don't love so much, or as time progresses, you realize that it's not the best wash or the best style that you were looking for. And that's the first one I'm going to show to you guys. It is this pair of 517. So if you guys don't know, the classic model of Levi's that people tend to really like is the 501 or the 505. 501 is very standard. 505 is a bit more of a modern interpretation of the 501 with a zipper fly, higher rise, all of that. Where I start to come in a little bit is the 517. I'm personally a really big fan of like flared pants. I feel like it looks best with my like proportions and physique. Like I have bigger thighs, so it kind of counterbalances the bigger thighs by like having it flare out at the bottom ever so slightly. And the 517s are basically a boot cut denim. Obviously boot cut denim used to be memed back in the day because it was like you would hide your sneakers, and now everyone's hiding their sneakers. But whether it's a trend or not, it just does my proportions the best. So I definitely have been buying into the whole flared pant thing, not even as of recent, as for a while now. So I bought these pair of 517s. If you guys want to look up these Levi's, you could definitely find a good amount of pairs. This is an orange tab, which is supposed to be their like more youthful approach to Levi's and just modern cuts and things of that nature. So this was supposed to be a 33 by 33. I assumed it was gonna fit, but as you guys know, vintage Levi's, they tend to fit different, like every like depending on how many times a person washed it and things of that nature. So this was such a nice wash, and the only distressing was this like blowout on the back pocket right here, unfortunately, but that could easily be repaired, or you could just keep it like that. The fit was so bad. Pause on all of this, by the way. My like boxers were like poking out here. It was just way too tight. It was horrible. Like definitely not salvageable. Just like the wash was so nice. Oh yeah, other distressing a little bit over there. I just wish I was able to actually save these, just because the wash was so nice and the way they flare out is just so perfect. Nonetheless, these don't fit me, but if you're like a 31 or a 30, these will fit you. I'm a 31 to 32, so if you're more in that range, these will fit you perfectly. Or if you have like skinnier thighs than I do, these will definitely fit you if you're a 32. If you guys want to buy these along with a whole bunch of other Levi's, be patient with me. I'll probably end up doing a story sale or load them up on Depop. It really depends on what you guys want. I'll probably do a poll on Instagram and you guys will find out what I end up doing on there. So make sure to go follow the kid on there to see what's good with the Levi's sale, because I'll probably have like a good 5 to 6 pairs to sell. So it'll be my little Levi's drop. Okay, now this pair right here is not technically a vintage pair of Levi's for all the purists out there, because they're not made in USA and they're not made in Canada. It's after they switched factories in 2003, I believe, from San Francisco. So that technically doesn't make them vintage Levi's. But if it was made in the early 2000s, I do feel like eventually these will be considered vintage Levi's, quote unquote. And that's why like I feel like these were written that they were 1980s, but I do know that anything that was made in Mexico around this time was probably not in the 80s from my knowledge, but maybe they were just miswritten or anything like that. But yeah, these were from Palmo Goods once again. And these right here, I got super lucky with, because at Palmo, they're mainly meant like for like women's wear, but they have a bit of men's as well. But when it comes to pants, it's hard to find a pair of vintage Levi's that fit you no matter where you're shopping. Like it could be anywhere. It's just like trial and error, because like I said before, the washes that have been put into those denims, or like even the way they've shrunken onto a person's body over time, different amounts of wear, all these factors play into like how the pant is going to fit, because they had a life before you ended up owning it. So all of that to say that these were a 32 by 36, and I was wondering if it was actually going to fit that way, and they do. They fit phenomenally. Like phenomenally. They fit amazing. These are probably my favorite pair of distressed vintage Levi's, like along with the other pair of 517s that I have, just because this is like a double blowout. I only have a single blowout pair of pants, so these will be like my distressed pair of vintage Levi's. The wash is perfect. Wash is insane. Perfect blue, and you can see the little 517. It's kind of faded there, but the distressing on the knee is just almost like as if someone made it themselves. Could be, honestly, but they look pretty natural to me. And we'll find these right here. But that's another thing. If you guys are looking into getting vintage Levi's, you could kind of look for different lengths versus your standard waist size. I'm normally a 32-34 length, depending on how I want my pants to fit. But if you want them to slap the shoe, if you want them to hit the shoe like how Kyron do, you could go even longer than that. You know what I mean? I went for a 36. These are probably shrinking down like a little bit to like a 35, 34 in length, but pretty true to the 36 length. And they just stack, like not like 2015 stacking, but like they just fall ever so gracefully on the shoe, as a lot of us want our pants to right now. So these are up there with probably like the top 3 of my favorite vintage Levi's currently. And that's hard to say because I have a lot of pairs right now. So definitely hold these with a lot of weight. They're a contender. And up there with my top 3 is this pair right here. I put some money into these ones, okay? This last pair is from Old Clothes Are Cool. He's doing amazing stuff right now. I'm doing like the whole Instagram reels with vintage and other things of that nature. Sorry I haven't showed these off yet, but there's been like such a long process with getting these. The story with this pair of vintage Levi's is crazy. I got it from Old Clothes Are Cool, shipped it to me, got it in, loved them, looked at them, wore them for a bit. Then I realized that they would look even better if I repaired them, just because the distressings weren't in areas that I personally enjoyed, and also they're an old ass pant. I believe these are actually from the 80s. Took them to my tailor, and that was right before we went into like lockdown, so all the stores were closed. And then we got out of lockdown, then he was finally able to work on my pants. So it was a wild goose chase for these pants, all that to say. And this is my first pair of salvage. I know it's not salvage. Salvaged, because it's self-edged. I know about the whole, don't come for me for all of that, okay? You know why? Because man's was back in the day in the APC era, okay? OG YouTube, okay? We know about the selvage jeans, okay? So this is one of the most OG self-edge jeans. Selfage. I have to make sure that the terminologies are good for you guys. So this right here, pair of selvage Levi's denim, so nice, and the wear on these was so crazy. I wish I took a before and after for you. I think my tailor took pictures, but I don't really have those. I'd have to like bother him to get them for me, and maybe he deleted them off of his phone. But look at the repair that he ended up doing. He ended up getting like this blue fabric and re-sewed like a patch, but almost did it like how the Self Edge store in New York does it, where they kind of repair the denim by recreating the fabric that was missing. I wish I had that accessible to me, because I love that video. Like I think it's that style of repairing where it does like the back and forth so much that it creates the fabric that was missing is so much better than having a patch. But this was the best equivalent that he could do to that, and he did a magnificent job, even though there is a patch obviously to reinforce it. So that's what he did for this repairing right here. He also did it on the button itself, because the opening was starting to get a little rough, so he did that repairing right there. Any other ones that he did that were kind of interesting? Oh yeah, the crotch, obviously a place that gets a lot of friction. He did a great job with that as well. So all of that was repaired as well. I'm in awe by like repair jobs, just because like it kind of like brings another life back into the pants. And especially with a pair like this, I didn't want it to go to waste, and I wanted it to have like a good quality of life with me. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to put my own wear into it, even though there's already plenty of character into it. I just wanted it to be very sturdy, although these pants are plenty sturdy. But just a little bit of reinforcing couldn't hurt anyone. So what he did with the patch, this was kind of like falling off. He took it off, salvaged it as much as possible. That's a funny ass pun. He took it off, put it back on, glued it, and sewed it so that it's intact as much as possible. So hopefully that lasts a little bit longer, even though you can't even see anything that's below that. I believe this is a pair of 501s. Yeah, and they're not no biggies or anything like that, but the fact that I have a salvage pair of vintage Levi's is incredible. Now on the back, oh yeah, I just wanted to touch on this too. He reinforced the back pockets too, like that black thread is all his reinforcing as well. And What's another one that he did that was pretty cool? Oh yeah, the bottoms. I didn't even know this was possible, but he was able to resurrect the bottoms. They were like, you know when you get like heel drag but pant drag, like they're falling a little bit too low. He recreated the weave for that as well, and now they're like extra sturdy. I'm gonna have to like break them in, but yeah, there you go. Crazy historical type of vintage Levi's. I love this pair. This is definitely one of the finer ones in my collection, not one that you see every day, and the wash is really cool, and just the character overall and the rarity, you don't really find these too often, so I was happy to pay a decent amount of money for them. And then also, anyone that's kind of complaining about paying too much for vintage Levi's, it's like, I get it, it's Levi's at the end of the day, but they make the best jeans, so why not pay a good amount of money, especially when you find one that just fits you perfectly, because fit is the most important thing when it comes to clothes, in my personal opinion. That is like one of the main essences of design, in my personal view of things. When it comes to fit, cough up the dollars, it's worth it. That's about it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed me going goo goo gaga over some pants. Hopefully you could take some notes for yourself this coming spring and buy some vintage Levi's or even some of the Carhartt workwear. I feel like those are two great bottoms to buy into. They're kind of like affordable. You already know how what I talk about with affordability. It's always subjective, but a good staple in a wardrobe that is gonna last you a very long time could be either of these pants right here. So take it with what you want and go explore the internet, find different ones that are your style. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Once again, make sure to go follow me on my Instagram. GOTSWEIGE is where you can keep up to date with me more frequently. I post fit pics, this and that, so that's what you can check out on there. Make sure to like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. I'm gonna be back here with another one very soon. I still got the shoe video to do for you guys, and I still have the vintage Levi's video as well, the collection. So I'm gonna catch you guys on those ones in the next couple of weeks. See ya. Peace. Panic when it get cold. We go at it. How you want the real smoke?